let's talk about Glow. Glow and Women of Wrestling. I'm really interested in the parallels and the comparisons here because naturally you are going to get a lot of comparisons and parallels here. What are some of the differences and the similarities that you've seen between these two? Because WOW is not a new thing; it's been around for quite a while.
Well, let's see. As you know, Sean, obviously my name resonates with any older wrestling fans vis-a-vis Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, that was launched in syndication and lasted over 4 years. Now, I created Glow and sold it after its second year's tapings were put into the can. And my vision for what I really wanted Glow to be is coming to fruition now, 30-some years later, with WOW Women of Wrestling. And I think the parallels will be anyone that liked Glow or really even watched the Netflix series Glow will see, the colorful costumes, the amped up characters. We take the current wrestlers' personalities and multiply them by 10, and we make sure the programming is true to something Glow just initially at the time that I was starting it. It just wasn't there at that time to grasp. I mean, at that time, the biggest athletic thing for women was Jane Fonda videos. And so I think the vision of creating and producing and presenting the best in women's wrestling, which is an athletic presentation in the ring, is now the timing, because, Jane Fonda videos were the big thing in '85, but today you've got real female athletes, all somewhat as a result of Title IX. And my business partner and co-owner of WOW Women of Wrestling, when she was a little girl, she was up in her room probably reading her favorite comics, which were Supergirl and Wonder Woman. And her father asked her to come downstairs and watch TV. She said, "Why?" And he said, "Because the world is going to change." And she said, "What do you mean, Dad?" He said, "You're going to come down and watch the world change. Billie Jean King is going to beat Bobby Riggs. And this will forever change women's dynamics in sports." She remembers that, and she went down and watched that. And subsequently, women's sports has evolved, and I think you're going to see the best in women's professional wrestling in WOW when it debuts on AXS TV Friday night, January 18th at 9 o'clock Eastern. In fact, I don't think it, I know it. And what's interesting, Sean, is not since Glow, even though WOW was on in syndication in the early 2000s before 9/11 knocked it out of the box, everybody got nailed with the bad advertising. We all just took a hit in the media for over years. Has there been a dedicated 1 hour program for an all-female wrestling program? So hats off to Mark Cuban, his president and CEO, Andrew Simon, and everyone at AXS TV for making that happen.
I was interested in that. How did this deal come about? Did you contact them? Did they contact you? I mean, wrestling programming on television is at a premium right now. I mean, you have a lot of people trying to get into the game, and here comes WOW Wrestling.
Well, I'm blessed with great partner, Jeanie. I'm blessed with a great trainer, Selena Majors, who many in the South will remember as Bambi. I'm blessed with so many good wrestlers. And when we decided to bring WOW back, Jeanie Buss and I were on the exact same page with respects how to do it slowly, to do it methodically, and to bring it back so that the brand could live and females would have a platform to wrestle long term. And to that extent, we looked for a marketing partner versus just a television outlet. And that's a key difference in vision. We looked for someone that was going to embrace WOW in the women wrestling. And Mark Cuban does. He likes wrestling. He's participated in wrestling. His president, Andrew Simon, nobody knows more about, well, this is right up your alley, fighting, MMA, boxing, and wrestling. I challenge anyone to know more than Andrew Simon, and your audience would appreciate that.
How about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks coming together for the sake of pro wrestling? Jeanie Buss and Mark Cuban, natural rivals there.
Exactly. And by the way, the Mavericks have played here twice at the Staples Center, and Mark's there, and we say hello to him in the hallway, but we don't talk on the night of game. So it's strictly basketball, and both are competitors in that respect. So the joining of the bridge, if you will, is professional wrestling in WOW. So I'm very blessed and fortunate. Respectful of how it came about, we were fortunate enough when we brought the live events here to Los Angeles that MGM Studios, who produces Lucha Underground, read a big feature story on Jeanie Buss and WOW in the LA Times. And so we were very lucky that Mark Burnett immediately picked up the phone, and Mark Burnett said, hey, we do Lucha Underground. You know, no one has done what you guys are doing on the female spectrum with female wrestling. I think we'd like to get involved. And subsequently, they are involved. They're a partner, MGM Studios, and to the extent that they're going to produce some great programming for us for television and digital. And they made the introduction to Mark Cuban last year at the Super Bowl, and Mark had known Jeanie was involved in wrestling, and it was because he was involved in New Japan Wrestling, and they had seen what they had done for New Japan Wrestling, slowly bringing it out, slowly taking their old programming, vamping it, putting JR on as an announcer, which then brought them into producing live events and broadcasting live events on AXS. And that mindset and that success led Mark Cuban to say, this is a no-brainer. Let's get WOW Women of Wrestling on AXS. And as the relationship has evolved, they've seen the athletic skills, they've seen the performances live, and that was one of their decisions to allow WOW to follow New Japan Wrestling on Friday nights. And as you well know, Friday nights is fight night on AXS TV. And so to be the leading show, New Japan Wrestling, and then WOW, what a springboard to successfully launch women's wrestling back into the marketplace.
When you get a television deal like this, it would be easy to just go after the biggest names possible, which you all did acquire some big names. But it would also be easy for you all to throw some of those other people by the wayside. Meanwhile, I'd see like Jungle Girl, who's been with you all, was with you all in 2000. Like from like early on, I see her involved as well. What goes into the thought process of the roster that you all are going to present now that you're on this national platform?
Athleticism. You know, I was challenged on that. Hey, you've still got Jungle Girl involved. Caged Heat was just retiring, Caged Heat. So the originals that are on the upcoming broadcast are the fabulous Lana Starr. She's not wrestling, but she's a manager. And Jungle Girl. And when you guys see Jungle Girl, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say athleticism.
I got a glimpse. I got a glimpse, and I was very impressed.
And she's only gotten better with age, and she is a true competitor. The greatest compliment she got, because there was some skepticism, was, of course, when the it girl in professional wrestling joined WOW, Tessa Blanchard, and she met Jungle Girl and then got into the ring with her, she told me, holy smokes, and that's not the word she used, but she said, holy smokes, that Jungle Girl is one of the best wrestlers I've ever competed against. So a tipping of the hat to Jungle Girl. So she is in the hunt for the WOW Championship. Santana Garrett defeated her in a triple threat match where Jungle Girl's shoulders were never pinned. Jungle Girl has never been pinned in WOW in over 18 years. So one of the things you might want to watch in this season is, does anyone ever pin the Queen of the Splash, Jungle Girl?
It's really hard in this day and age with cell phones everywhere, all that, to kind of keep your results under wraps, and you all have been able to do that. What kind of challenges did you face there in a wrestling landscape where so often the audience knows what the results are before it happens, especially with taped stuff?
Two things, and I know that the WWE does it because I go to their events. We announced and asked the live audience to please not broadcast, what's going on and not to display it on their cell phones. And again, I use the word a lot, but I believe it. We were just blessed with fans that want WOW to succeed.
Sure.
And because they want WOW to succeed and they want women's wrestling to succeed, we really, certainly fans pulled out their cell phones. Certainly they shot photos. At my younger little nephew, I know for a fact he popped his phone out and did some videos, but they haven't posted it. And several fans have contacted the WOW wrestlers, via social media, #WOW Superheroes, and asked, can we post stuff? And so it's almost like a community of people that want to see WOW succeed. They recognize, in today's landscape, you can shoot something and it's seen later, just like Impact Wrestling. I was fortunate enough to go to their great events in Las Vegas 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I've enjoyed watching them on TV the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I can't say anything other than we've been fortunate that the fans that came have respected that wish, and I'm actually amazed at it, Sean, as much as you are.
So this deal, obviously you're on AXS TV. Are there any details to the deal, like the length, the number of episodes, or anything that you can provide? Also, the talent deals. You all acquired some key talent. Obviously not exclusive because you got Tessa Blanchard on Impact. Can you lend any light on how those talent deals are structured, or the length of your AXS deal?
Well, on AXS TV, we're going to broadcast initially 8 one-hour episodes with the idea that we're going to take from those, learn from those, and then produce additional programming. The goal for the year is 26 one-hour programs, not unlike I did for Glow when we started that. That provides us the ability to do re-airs and also get into the international TV market. Then the next step is to increase that coverage in years 2, and the ultimate goal is we want to do live programming, live telecast of the events on AXS TV, as they just started with New Japan Wrestling.
I was going to ask you about that.
Their big one was that one in Long Beach. And so, as I said, we're blessed with a strategic marketing partner in AXS TV versus just a broadcaster. When we started WOW and came back, we took the old programs from 2000 and put them into syndication. That were in syndication, we took them and put them on an ABC affiliate in Las Vegas to see how well they would fare. And they killed it on Sunday afternoons, just terrific ratings. So we knew there was an appetite by the fan base for WOW. We then went out, Sean, literally. Now, this is by having Jeanie bust the Lakers marketeer and owner
Yeah.
behind WOW. We went out with a team across the country and met with wrestling fans at their homes, showing them WOW programming and asking them what they want to see. We recognize there's, a bevy of professional wrestling on multiple platforms today, bigger than ever. And WWE, I don't know what it is, but I guarantee it's over 15 hours a week that they're pumping out and programming. So how would we, one, compete about it, and two, how would we structure the best landscape to present WOW? And we found a thread. There were two threads with the audience. They wanted an alternative wrestling program that is different than what was currently in the marketplace. And two, this one word was threaded from California to Indiana to New York to Florida. They wanted the fun, F-U-N, back in wrestling. And I think we're going to deliver both on January 18th on AXS. And when I mentioned having a marketing partner, the key to the structure of the deal was everyone is aligned in their thinking that we've got a long-term goal to make this successful. And that's unique, very unique.
I'm really excited to check out this show, Women of Wrestling on AXS, starting in January. Any parting words before we go?
Well, I got to tell you, there's been a phenomena in professional wrestling, and her name is The Beast. And not many people have seen her. She is on our website, WOWE.com. And, I can't remember when I turned on any wrestling program, and I saw someone, and I went, wow. I mean, you did it in the 80s when you saw Hulk Hogan. You just looked at him and knew he was a star. The Rock, as he evolved and as Stone Cold evolved, they evolved into stars. But you didn't look at them when they started and said, wow. We have a wrestling phenomena that's going to debut on AXS TV at 9 o'clock that Friday night. She's in the opening match, and it's a phenomena. It's a specimen. I mean, when Joni Lawler, bless her heart, walked out on that stage, she was a phenomena. You looked at her and said, wow. When she walked into an airport and you saw her walk on the plane, you went, wow. When professional wrestling, MMA, boxing fans, and fans that don't even watch wrestling that just love Glow on Netflix, when they watch Friday night at 9 o'clock, turn it on sharp, and they see the first match, they're going to see a phenomena. It doesn't happen often in wrestling. Remember, Stone Cold and The Rock, they evolved. The Undertaker evolved. Not many walk on the stage, put their foot down like you do Neil Armstrong on the moon and plant the flag and know they're a star. That's going to happen on AXS TV on Friday night at 9 o'clock.